It's been a month since 1999 first launched, so now that we've had time to farm up all of the content within the 1999 update, I figured that it's a good time to review the update as it was Warframe's biggest update of 2024. If you don't know me, I'm iFlynn. I've been playing and making content for Warframe since 2015. I go through periods of playing and enjoying Warframe a lot, and then to not playing Warframe at all whenever I'm not enjoying the recent update. I took my first big break from Warframe after the Angels of Disarmament update, as I didn't like how we were expected to farm standing and rank up with the Holdfast Syndicate. Running around a tile set and picking up plumes simply just wasn't for me. I have since completed the Holdfast Syndicate grind, but that's because they made it easier with the introduction of the Sanctum. The Sanctum dropping some of the resources needed to get the things within the Disarmament area made the grind easier for me. So before we start this review, I want to put my biases up front. I play Warframe to farm new equipment and frames to play more difficult content. That more difficult content doesn't include level cap runs, because unless happening accidentally whenever I'm opening relics or something, going to level cap just isn't appealing to me because I don't see any point in it. I like the chase. I like to have goals to hit. I want to get strong enough to do an activity, and said activity is worth my time or investment in terms of the rewards that it drops. I'm a big fan of Warframe's Elite Deep Archimedia game mode, as it drops Archon shards that make my frame stronger in a quality of life type of way, and the game mode asks me to optimize the frames and weapons that it allows me to bring into it, which adds variety to the game for me. For that same reason, I'm a big fan of Netracells and Archon hunts. Netracells and Archon hunts are not so difficult whenever you compare it to the Elite Deep Archimedia, but they're still rewarding because they drop Archon shards and upgrade to my gear that is sparse. Which also means that I'm a big fan of the weekly Steel Path circuit, because the Steel Path circuit drops incarnon adapters that make bad weapons good. So besides the new weekly game modes that drop Archon shards and incarnon adapters, what made me want to come back in full capacity for Warframe 1999? From update 32 onwards, if we take a look at what the updates have added into the game or fixed within the game, we can see a dedicated effort to make more content that a wider net of people who play Warframe can enjoy. An example of a Warframe update that I didn't enjoy is update 27, Empyrean. This is the Reeljack update. Now again, this is just my personal opinion. I know there are a small set of people out there that love Reeljack, but I'm not one of them. I hate Reeljack and I avoid it like the plague. I avoid anything to do with leveling up some type of vehicle or mech in Warframe, because these additions are not what I enjoy or expect from Warframe unless it's implemented in a way that actually stays true to the Warframe gameplay loop. So whenever I say the Warframe gameplay loop, what do I mean? I mean something that integrates seamlessly into what we know and enjoy Warframe gameplay as, which is that fast-paced space ninjas with magic looter shooter hack and slash that has this crazy modding system where we farm things and get that dopamine hit from getting drops or completing activities that better our gear, or even landing a huge damage number. Anytime that I have to take a step away from this gameplay loop inside of Warframe, like to level my Reeljack intrinsics or level up my mech or K-Drive, anytime that I have to slow down my gameplay to, let's say, pick something up or do a bounty objective that slows me down, that's whenever the game goes from being enjoyable to annoying for me personally. Warframe's gameplay stands out when compared to other looter shooters because it can be this crazy fast, cool looking, killing an entire army of enemies or slaying a massive worm play session that you simply don't get from many other games. Warframe 1999 does a lot of this right and even more, but it doesn't come without its flaws. Chapter 1, the story. Don't worry, I'm not going to spoil anything. I genuinely believe that if you have even the slightest interest in Warframe's story, you will enjoy the Warframe 1999 quest for its story alone. Before you can do the 1999 quest, you need to have completed all of the main quests, including the Lotus Eaters and the Deviri Paradox. If I were to rank it beside other Warframe quests, it would definitely be in my top 2. It is that good that it competes for my number 1 spot. But the question is why? Because guess what? I find Warframe's story, up to whispers in the walls, extremely difficult to follow. It's messy to say the least. I'm the type of guy that has to watch the lore videos made by some Warframe super nerd to understand what's going on between the Ludus and Ballas, just as an example, because I don't think the storytelling does that good of a job at letting the player know the context behind what these characters are doing or why they're doing it. Unfortunately, to an extent, this remains true within Warframe 1999, but it's a lot less so. From the Whispers in the Walls quest onward, it feels like DE have made more of an effort to be more straightforward when it comes to their storytelling. It's not perfect, like the 1999 quest does have some confusing elements to it, which some people might find hard to follow, but in my opinion, it's better. It's easier to follow, and I think that that's a good thing. Some of my favorite quests in Warframe are the straightforward, to-the-point ones, so for example, the Second Dream quest or the Jade Shadows quest. The reason that the Hex quest ranks so highly above a lot of other quests in the game is due to the effort that the dev team put into creating a great atmosphere throughout the entire 1999 world within Warframe. Everything from the music in the game to the new characters' personalities and the new enemies, they just nailed the 1999 aesthetic. And again, I'm gonna admit a bias here. I was born in 1999, so a lot of the music and imagery and the way that the characters act, I'm somewhat familiar with because of what I was around whenever I was growing up. There's more of a focus on characters, atmosphere, music, and also just incorporating the player into the story than what we've seen before in Warframe. They've literally added an alternate ending that you have to work to achieve via getting to know the new characters. And let me tell you, getting to know the new characters goes so deep that it's scary. It goes so deep that I can't open up Warframe Twitter anymore without seeing someone who is overly attached to one of the new NPCs. Warframe Twitter has become very weird since Warframe 1999 has come out, so yeah, that's a thing. Naturally, because we can talk to the new characters, you can romance them, hence the weird Twitter stuff, but that's to be expected from Twitter. The characters have very distinct personalities, and you can tell that they've put a lot of thought and effort into developing them. The romance stuff isn't mandatory, but getting to know the characters on a friendly basis for the alternate ending is, and I think even ranking up your standing with the Hex Syndicate is required. The quest is about an hour to an hour and a half long, and it's a pretty smooth sailing experience. I experienced maybe one bug in the quest, and I played it on the day of release, so it's a pretty airtight, smooth sailing experience, and that's important to mention because sometimes Warframe updates can come out really buggy. Moving on to Chapter 2, post-quest content. After completing the Hex quest, you're going to be rewarded with Site 09's blueprints, the new Warframe released with this update, one built Forma, the new Magnetic Might mod, which is a pistol mod that gives 60% magnetic damage and 40% critical damage, the Atomocycle Summon for your gear so you can ride a motorbike in missions, some skins, and access to Hulvania and the Hex Syndicate. The first thing that you're going to want to do after completing the Hex quest is rank up with the Hex Syndicate to gain access to all of the new weapons, Site 09 Warframe parts, and arcanes that came with the 1999 update. The bounties are basically just regular Warframe missions such as Exterminate, Survival with a new twist, Capture with a new twist, and an Assassination mission versus a boss that I'm not going to spoil. To earn the standing during these missions, you're going to need to complete a side bounty objective such as destroying containers, killing a certain amount of enemies, destroying vehicles, and getting high ground kills. The high ground kills being the most annoying one out of all of the side objectives. And during your bounty missions, sometimes a cache will spawn in which you can find and deliver keys to within a time limit, and that's going to grant you access to one of the new arcanes. To rank up with the Hex Syndicate while playing your bounty missions in Hulvania, you're going to have to collect some items off of the floor, which include pizza, a burger meal, camera film, cereal, a mood crystal, whatever that is, some beer, a CD of the new boy band added into the game, and finally a comic book. Collecting these items is similar to collecting void plumes from the Zariman or Voka from the Sanctum. However, it's a lot less annoying because in my opinion, the Hulvania tile set is more straightforward and the items laying around are floating, they make a noise and have a harsh green glow around them, so they're pretty hard to miss. These items aren't out of the way or hidden, they're scattered along the path that you're going to take to complete your mission, so it's a lot less of a frustrating grind when compared to the void plumes and the Voka grind. But if you're still struggling to find the items that you need while running your bounties, you can use the Orican Eye air support charge that comes with the Parallax landing craft that you can get for 150 platinum from the market. Your first time playing the bounties, I recommend bringing in a loot frame such as Necros, Hydroid, or Korra, because the enemies will drop new resources and new mods added in with the update. The resources you're going to need to craft the new Warframe and weapons, and to be honest, the mods that they've added are pretty good. New magnetic mods and the spectral serration mod, just as a few examples. In the Hellscrub survival mission, you're going to notice that the life support towers accumulate this blue goo on them, and that prevents you from interacting with the tower to refill your life support. Just go ahead and shoot the blue goo off of it. If enough of the blue goo attaches to the life support, it's going to turn into an infested enemy. The new capture game mode, Legasite Harvest, asks you to follow the blue cat Kalemos and protect them. After protecting them for long enough, the Legasite that you have to capture is going to spawn in. You want to go ahead and deplete its health bar, then you can capture it. Repeat that process as much as you want. It's capture, but it's now endless. Both of these new game modes have a chance at dropping the parts blueprints for the new weapons, but you don't have to farm these specifically from these missions. You can purchase all of the blueprints from the new weapons from Amir back in Hulvania. But are the new weapons worth grinding? Well, it depends on who you are. If you're the type of person who only wants the best of the best, you can comfortably skip these weapons, but if you're someone who likes to put together unique loadouts and likes guns that have quirky effects and stuff, you might want to pick them up. The grind isn't hard, so honestly, I would say just go for it. Each of the weapons are unique in their own way, especially the AX-52. It's really good. It's the same deal for the Arcanes sold by Eleanor, to be honest. In unique circumstances, the Arcanes can be insane, but generally speaking, you don't need any of them. Some Warframes and loadouts will be able to make real good use of them, but you're not missing out if you don't have them. If you're playing enough bounties though, and opening the supply caches, you're going to passively accumulate all of them while barely trying. But now the heavy hitter, Site09. Is he worth picking up? Considering how easy he is to get him, I would say why not? Is he the most broken Warframe in the game? No. But is he fun? Yeah. He's just another cool kit to play around with, and if you like the theme, you like the frame. He can hold his own in basically any mission. However, the major downside of Site09, and something I'm quite disappointed with, is his invisibility. Unfortunately, for some reason, DE have made Site09's invisibility a skill check, meaning that you can extend the duration of the invisibility by landing headshots. But if you fail to land headshots and let the duration of the invis run out, your invisibility, which is his main source of survivability, is going to go on a massive cooldown. To me, this makes absolutely no sense considering the context of Warframe gameplay, where a teammate could run any nuke frame, kill everything around you, and now you can't get headshots to extend your invis and you're a sitting duck. It's even made 10 times worse because they've added these mods into the game which are based around being invisible, and you are kind of beckoned into using these mods on Site09. So if your invisibility is down because it's on cooldown because you couldn't get a kill because your Siren has nuked everything, well, that spectral serration mod that you've got on now just isn't applying to your weapon. It just doesn't sit right with me that he's the only invis frame that now has a cooldown on his invisibility. It feels very weird, very inconsistent with the other frames, and just very unnecessary. I'm not against having cooldowns on Warframe abilities, in the case of Geyer, for example, where all you have to do is kill to extend the duration of her abilities. It works well, but whenever you specifically have to land headshots to extend an invisibility, I don't know, it just feels unnecessary. As you're running around and doing your bounties, you're going to notice that you're passively going to be completing challenges as well. These challenges unlock rewards at the Palm 2 PC, progressing a 1999 calendar that's going to reward you with stuff such as Forma, Arcanes, and Archon Shards, so that's definitely worth paying attention to. Chapter 3, Minigames and Secrets. As the 1999 calendar progresses in-game, the seasons of Hulvania will change. Winter, spring, summer, and autumn tile sets have all been added into the game, which is a nice touch and spruces up the time farming the 1999 bounties. Tech rot safes have been added into the 1999 bounties. These are blue safes where you need to carry a biocode, which is basically a key to open it. Inside can be credits, a new arcane, or one of the hex treasures that you need to rank up with the Hex Syndicate. The 1999 update adds in many new old-themed video game minigames such as Caliber Chicks 2 and Snake as a hacking puzzle. There are many more secrets and things to unlock within 1999 content, but I don't want to spoil them in this video. Chapter 4, Monetization. On Steam, you're able to purchase the 1999 Complete Collection for $54.99 USD. This gives you everything Site 09 related, including the Reconifex rifle and some boosters, as well as 750 platinum and all of the new Gemini skins. There's also the choice of buying the Site 09 Bullseye bundle from Steam for $19.99 USD, which just gives you everything Site 09 related, again with some boosters and 275 platinum. If you just want the ProtoFrame skins from Steam, you can buy the 1999 Gemini Oath collection for $39.99 USD, or you can buy the platinum equivalents from the Warframe marketplace for 600 plat for the Site 09 Straight Shot bundle, which is just the Bullseye bundle but for platinum. And you can buy the 1999 Gemini Pack collection, which is the Gemini Oath collection, just for 1,200 platinum. You're going to see a 450 platinum by purchasing the pack with all of the skins instead of buying them all individually. And if you wanted to buy platinum to buy the Gemini Pack collection for platinum, you need to spend the 100 USD on the 2,100 platinum pack, so you'd also be able to pick up the Site 09 Straight Shot bundle if you wanted to. I don't recommend buying any of this for real money. If you want the Gemini skins, I suggest trading for the platinum. If anything, if I wanted to spend money, I would buy some Tenogen skins. Chapter number 5. Quality of life. With the Warframe 1999 update, Trinity and Nyx got a few changes, making their kits just straight up better. This was not a rework, it was just a touch up on their already existing abilities and making them a bit better. The frames have stayed pretty much the same, they're just a tiny bit better. The big quality of life with this update was changes for newer players. Newer players now start with more slots, so instead of having 8 weapon slots, you now have 11, and for Warframe slots, instead of having only 2, you've got 3. The Mercury and Mars junction are now going to drop you a fully built Boltor and Fragger instead of just the blueprints, just to give you some free weapons as a newer player. And Master Rank tests no longer will make you wait for 24 hours after failing an attempt. You can now just spam the Master Rank test until you complete it successfully, and then the cooldown for when you can do your next Master Rank test has been reduced from 24 hours to 23 hours. Chapter number 6. Criticisms. Something that I haven't mentioned yet is a new game mode that was added with Warframe 1999, and this game mode is known as Face Off. Face Off is a PvPvE game mode where you must race against the opposing squad to complete 3 objectives. As you're completing your objectives, containers are going to spawn in that you can use to buff up your team or debuff the enemy team. This game mode has basically died day one as Warframe players just don't enjoy PvP, and the extra annoying thing is that the PvPvE node is required when it comes to completing your star chart as a newer player to unlock Steel Path and Arbitrations, which sucks because it means that you have to queue up for a PvP game mode and sit and wait in a queue for people to join before you can progress towards completing your star chart. I don't know why DE did this. PvE content should not be locked behind PvP content. We should learn from Destiny 2's mistakes. And speaking of learning from Destiny 2, I don't understand why we made Gambit 2.0 and added it into Warframe anyway, as it's my understanding that many Destiny 2 players simply just don't like the Gambit game mode. So why Digital Extremes spent their time making a PvPvE game mode in a game where PvP content isn't well received, and then they tried to make a mode similar to Gambit, which is also not well received, it just doesn't make a lot of sense to me. I and many other players just avoid Face Off like the plague. What I'm trying to say is that I feel like time could have been spent developing literally anything else other than a PvPvE game mode, and we probably would have been happier with it. Speaking about developing other things, unfortunately, the Infested Lich system that was supposed to come with the 1999 update got delayed. And this is because if they tried to deploy it alongside 1999, they claimed that the build that they would be shipping it would be far too buggy and it would take away from the experience of 1999. So now we're probably going to have to wait until February before we get the Infested Liches. And I can't help but feel like a lot of the content that was supposed to come with 1999 to make it feel like a complete experience was supposed to be coming with those Infested Liches, as the Infested Liches are literally the boy band that we can hear playing in the background in a lot of the 1999 areas. The Infested Liches are going to be bringing 13 new weapons, 10 of which are coda weapons of already existing Infested weapons, and 3 brand new weapons. In my opinion, it's okay that they've delayed the Infested Liches so they can deliver a higher quality product when they eventually ship that update, but delaying the Liches has also made the 1999 update past the quest feel a little bit empty. Everything in this update is extremely easy to farm, and you only have to farm these items if you want to. There isn't anything super mandatory or beneficial apart from maybe a few of the arcanes and Site 09 if you want to collect and play all of the frames. We kind of have this trend going on now with Warframe updates where they add in a quest, the quest has a boss, which is our new assassination mission, and that's the climax to the quest kinda, and then a new player hub where we farm bounties and collect things off of the floor for the new frame, weapons, mods, and arcanes. I think that the Whispers in the Walls update did it the best. It came with bounties, somewhat new game modes, new weapons, frame, and mods. It also introduced a weekly game mode that was worth doing and was further expanded upon with Elite Deep Archimedia. The weapon that we got from the Whispers in the Walls was also a unique weapon that came with unique mods, the Canticle and Invocation mods. And it also introduced Vosper, which was a new resource that we could use to get packs of arcanes. I hope to see more PvE, somewhat difficult game modes that drop worthwhile rewards, such as Archon Shards or Incarnon adapters for existing weapons added to the Helvania area. I think copying the Whispers in the Walls formula and applying that to every Warframe update will make more Warframe updates banger after banger. I want to see more rewarding weekly stuff to do. Chapter 7, Conclusion. In my opinion, Warframe 1999, alongside Whispers in the Walls, marks the start of a new era for Warframe with a new story and cast of characters. I'm excited for the future of the game again, which is something that I haven't said in a long time. If Digital Extremes can maintain this level of world building, update after update, while also catering to the needs of the players who want to farm their game for powerful equipment and take part in somewhat challenging activities on a regular basis week after week, they'll have a recipe for the best live service looter shooter to ever exist. 1999 has successfully brought me back into Warframe after quitting cold turkey after the Angels of Dazarman, simply due to a lack of fun. 1999 has put the fun back into Warframe because what they've added with this update in terms of story, atmosphere, world building, music, and more is good enough to restore my faith in the dev team after a long history of seeing them hit and miss with their updates. I give Warframe 1999 a 7.99 out of 10.